Hello, welcome to Patched. I'm your host, Paul James. I'm joined by Matto Phillips. How's things, mate?
I swear, every time we do this, it rains.
Yeah.
It rained last week. It's rained all day today.
But it's summer. Go figure.
And and it's
I was chatting
December.
to Betson today, who was in Sydney because he'd had a work Christmas party the night before. It's 41 degrees in Sydney today.
Really?
It's half of that here,
41.
and it's only
It's like
it's an hour and a half
not even.
plane trip away.
It's like 14 here today. It's 41 in Sydney.
Yeah, it was insane. He left
That's
at the
silly.
time. At the time he left, it was 36, and he returned to Melbourne. It was 18. It was literally half the temperature. So anyway, go figure. Summer.
Welcome
We're going to
to
get our
Melbourne.
ass kicked soon enough. I mean, we've got a few 30s coming up, but that's about it. Anyway, the Game Awards. We had the episode last week where we kind of discussed some of our predictions, some of which weren't too bad in
Most of them
retrospect.
We got right.
Yeah.
We got them right almost. I was slightly confused. I thought that's not right. We
That's
got
not-
things right.
That's not how things. Yeah.
That's
Then again,
not how things work around here.
it was a bit of a trend across the predictions for the Game Awards, I guess. Because did you see the Greg Miller stuff?
Yes, the thing he said like years ago, and then
No, it was only this
Was
week because I actually listened to the
this
podcast
week?
as well. So like they did their predictions showcase for the Game Awards, and he to the letter outlined exactly what was going to happen with OD or overdose, as technically kind of known, with the Jordan Peele presence and the fact that it's a horror.
Oh,
James
yes,
all
yes.
that sort of stuff, like beat by beat, and then like the way they've spliced that with then what happened, and then the fact that they had Tim and Andy doing live reactions at the same time, and the way they reacted, then like genius from I have to assume that Jeff Keighley had like seen their predictions thing. He's gone, holy shit, we need to have the cameras ready to hit Greg afterwards, because then as Jordan Peele gets revealed, the camera like swings over to Greg Miller, who's just he's just clapping like anyone else in the crowd, but like if you knew, you knew. It was huge. So anyway, we're basically like what I'm trying to get at here is that we have as much insight and insider knowledge as Greg Miller does. Patched, that's the one place you need to be. All right, the Game Awards have been run and won though, and we're going to go through five of our favorite games that were shown off. We can kind of touch on what we feel about the awards side of things and whatnot as well. We might just kind of get to that later on. But for now, considering that half the showcase was dedicated to game trailers and ads, as has been broken down by a few people in the hours since, we might dedicate more than half of our time to that as well. So, Matto, we've got them sorted from 5 to 1. What was the game? I guess the fifth most made you excited? I don't know, whatever. Fifth most anticipated game off the back
I think
of the
there was a
showcase.
lot. I think out of the fifth ones, there was a big list of.
You can throw a
games
blanket
that
over
could
a
go
few.
with number five. But I went with Rise of the Ronin.
Oh,
As
yeah.
my number 5. I know it is by Team Ninja, and I know Team Ninja make games that are somewhat difficult.
Neo.
So I'm hoping if it's something more like the Star Wars Jedi style of difficulty, not Dark Souls side of difficulty, then sure, I'll play it. It's also coming out in March.
Yeah,
It's,
March 22.
I think it was a January demo or something too. I thought, oh, they've really got.
I'll double check
Or
that.
that might not have been it. That might have been another game. I'm pretty sure there was another game that said there was a demo coming out.
Well,
in
Prince of
January.
Persia has one in January that's literally a week before the game comes out.
Oh, it could be Prince
But,
of Persia then.
I think
Maybe
I
I'm
feel
getting
like
mixed up Prince of
I
Persia.
feel like Rise of the Ronin had a demo at one point,
I missed it.
months ago, but I don't know.
It might have been Prince of Persia. I'm getting mixed
Prince
up.
of Persia
with-
definitely has one in January.
When I saw the demo, I thought, ooh, I'll give that a go.
Which on that
Good
Prince of
point.
Persia one, that's weird. Like, put the demo out in December and give people like a month to get excited for it, rather than a week before the game comes out. The demo comes out, reviews will probably come out a couple days later, and then the game's suddenly there. It's a weird one.
It's also weird too if it's coming out a week before and something goes incredibly wrong.
You got no time.
Then you're in trouble.
You're
if
screwed
that's
at
the
that
case. No one wants your free outfit.
Yeah.
For pre-order. Don't want it. Not convincing me, Ubisoft.
No.
Unless
But yeah,
it's a big
Rise of the
hammer.
Ronin though.
Unless it's a big hammer or a 19-inch statue. Not interested. Don't
No.
care.
19 inches of Prince in you.
Oh. That's it. Ooh.
or his blade even. Anyway, we'll move on from those sorts of jokes. What is it about Rise of the Ronin that's really, I mean, it's gonna be difficult. So
I think for some reason I'm just a big fan of the samurai era. I don't know why. I just am. Because
that's
I
fair.
think since Ghost of Tsushima came out, I was like, I like playing with samurai swords.
Yeah,
I
good.
was trying to really
Nice
word
save.
that, not
Nice
sound it
save.
really weird.
Considering everything we just said, nice save.
Yes.
Yeah,
Riding
look,
horses and samurai swords.
your difficulty thing's interesting because they've done Neo, and that's obviously hard as shit. They even going back, they did Ninja Gaiden, like the rebooted ones, and they're hard as well. But they did also semi-recent. I guess it's technically kind of the worst of probably their games, but they did Stranger of Paradise, the Final Fantasy Origins thing, which was another Soulsborne game, but set in the Final Fantasy kind of universe. But that did have difficulty modes in it, and I'm sure Square Enix probably mandated that. But at the same time, they would have been able to learn a fair bit from it, hopefully, and maybe we'll try and bring that sort of model across to Rise of the Ronin, which will make it more accessible for. Well, you're kind of indicating that maybe you wouldn't object if it was there, like a Star Wars Jedi Survivor. I would probably play the game if it has that, like a Jedi Survivor or like a Stranger of Paradise. So for me, it doesn't make the list because it doesn't appear that it does. But
That's alright. There's only like about 30 games to pick from anyway.
yeah,
it was long. I was almost needed to have a nap midway through all the trailers. I just thought, oh my god, so many.
If I wasn't at work, I would have had a real problem. Well, I guess for me, number 5, I've kind of gotten a bit greedy, and I indicated this to you beforehand. I've kind of split it between 2 games that I'm referring as a part of the December DLC duo. That is Final Fantasy 16's DLC that was, I guess, there's a pair of pieces of DLC that were announced, but one of them is available now. Echoes of the Fallen for Final Fantasy 16, and then next year there'll be the Rising Tide, which as a Fort Minor fan, I just love hearing that name. But yeah, that DLC is out now. Apparently it's pretty short, but that's not necessarily a surprise because the game came out 6 months ago. You were never going to be able to churn out a 10+ hour DLC with that sort of amount of time. And then God of War Ragnarok's Valhalla expansion that was announced, and we'd kind of knew that there was something coming, but was announced it is out the 12th. It's out next week. And it's free for everyone.
This episode.
Yeah, actually, the day this episode goes live, you can go get the Valhalla expansion for God of War Ragnarok. So, I mean, I'm slightly hesitant in the sense that it's got roguelike elements in it, and PlayStation seems to be getting real hot under the collar for that. You think about Returnal, The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But the thing I thought was like, it looks like a tower-based game, and I'm thinking, it's a good thing it's free.
Yeah.
Because if that was the case, I wouldn't be buying it. If that was.
I would have preferred like just a story expansion, like a typical story expansion, like say a Horizon Forbidden West style thing and Burning Shores. But it's free. Apparently the difficulty modes from the core game will still be there, so if the roguelite elements are starting to really cause me some headaches, I'll just drop the difficulty down so I can actually see whatever the story is that they've kind of put together in full. But yeah, PlayStation's getting real hard for it at the moment because you've got Returnal, you've got The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered thing where it's got the no return mode. I can't remember what it was called.
I think it was just no return.
I should know, and I would have been thinking about it more had GTA 6 not been like broken, or someone had leaked it and brought the trailer forward, which then completely squashed The Last of Us Part 2.
Good on you, leaker. I hope you have a job. You probably don't.
Not at Naughty Dog, that's for sure.
Not anymore, that's for sure.
No return. No return mode. Yeah, no return mode. But yeah, so like PlayStation's got a thing for roguelites at the moment, and I mean it's fine. Like it adds a lot of replay value without having to kind of really dive super deep into crazy multiplayer stuff. But yeah, anyway, I'm pretty keen on both pieces of DLC. Final Fantasy, I'd imagine, the night of us recording it, I've been kind of doing a lot of write-ups about the Game Awards, but once we're done here, I think I'll get inside and play that and probably be done with it tonight, and then can move on to God of War next week. But it's pretty cool. Anyway, that's my number 5. Assume you don't have too much more to add, especially on the Final Fantasy side, but anything else add to God of War?
Not too much to God of War. Like I said, it feels like a tower-based game, and that's really it. I mean, I thought it would be something, not something cool. It might be cool, but thought it'd just be a story in between what happened between God of War and God of War Ragnarok.
Yep.
Of this journey of dad and a head.
Yeah, I don't know.
No idea. We'll
All right.
see. It might surprise me, but who knows?
Back over to you. What was
Number
the fourth most
4.
anticipated game?
Hellblade 2.
Oh yeah.
We saw a little bit of gameplay this time, which is nice, but still, no release date. But it's coming out next year. When? Who knows? I think they just played it safe. They don't want I would say, a Redfall situation to just go, right, here's the date, get it done. I think it's just... If it gets delayed to 2025, I think there's going to be a riot. Pitchforks and all out the front of Xbox Studio building.
Good, because that was actually my wording when I did my little report for the player to for the website, because I'm filthy that they the trailer looked great. I'll start with that, but I was filthy that they just put 2024 and that's it on the whole thing. They've been they announced this game at the Game Awards in 2019. Before the Series X came even,
Burning Baby.
That wasn't that first one, was it? I think
it was.
I feel like that was the following year or something like that. But
I know, still Burning Baby. That's all I remember.
Yeah, they've kept people on the hook for far too long when it comes to this, and it's I get what Xbox was going for in the first place, but also you went way too soon, and so
really jumped the gun.
Yeah, they was just so keen to show something that was going to look really, technically good for the Xbox Series X that you've actually created Ninja Theory a gigantic problem now. So, and
also the other thing too is hey, we're making games besides Halo and Gears of War
and Forza.
We just don't know where it's going to be finished.
Yeah,
we won't tell you that part though. But hey,
it might have been the only thing that was actually done. That
maybe
that footage was possibly all that existed about the game. It was
the beta testing. What have you got us? A Burning Baby. Show us.
All right.
Yep. That'll do. Give it here. We'll show it.
Polish it. Get it out the door.
Before you do that, put a world premiere at the start of it, please.
Exactly. Oh, but hang on, there's not going to be world premieres, and yet it was uttered 20 times in the first 5 minutes of the pre-show by Sydney Goodman. That was, anyway. Good one, Jeff.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, I stole the thunder from your thing there. What were you liking most about Hellblade?
I think that we saw some gameplay. That's all I'm happy about. It's just, it looks like Hellblade. Got a companion by the looks of it. How long they'll last, who knows. But yeah, like I said, it did show a lot of mainly just combat. That's all it showed.
Look,
maybe some fire?
Yeah, I don't know. If they follow up with another one of their developer directs, like they did at the beginning of this year, where they announced Hi-Fi Rush and all, if they kind of kick off the year or somewhere fairly early in the piece with a showcase where they then kind of dive deep into it, and then they maybe put a date or at least spring 2024 or whatever it is that they do.
Q4, Q3 or something. Yeah. Just give us an idea.
Narrow it a little bit more, then I think I'm cool with it. But to just slap 2024 on this thing when we've been waiting 5 years already is ridiculous.
We'll get it between January 1st and December 31st. It'll get released on January 1st, 2025.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess anyone who's been kind of following this for years maybe would argue that I'm being a little bit of a hypocrite with those sort of comments, because I've probably let PlayStation and Square Enix and those sort of things off in the past. But also, I don't if they pulled us something like that now, I wouldn't be happy. But we've got so many more games now that you don't need to dangle a carrot out in front of someone and then say, don't worry, but in 5 years you're going to love it, because you do that and there's every chance that people just move on and forget about you.
I think that's the thing with all the game trailers that said coming out 2025 was I don't care.
Yeah.
Really don't care, because I've got other games to play between now and 2025. A massive backlog of games.
Yeah. Which
is going to get bigger.
And February is nuts, and we spoke about this last week. It is bullshit what the game developers and publishers have all done in already. Then the week of the Game Awards, we had a whole bunch of other games, including stuff from the Game Awards, get added to the February slate. It is insane, and I hate what's going on with this.
We thought October was bad.
Yeah, and I think Feb 2024 might actually be worse. So anyway, my number 4, as I bring it all back because where's my note gone? My number 4 is Exodus, which was the game that kicked off the main show. which threw me off a little bit first because Matthew McConaughey was the one that came out for it to begin with. And
Yeah,
I was like,
I don't.
oh, here we go. We got the celebrity cameo thing. This is gonna be good. But then he's involved with the game itself, which instantly kind of cooled that cynicism from me that okay, let's leverage a big profile person, but also he's actually attached to the game, so less of a big deal. But it's got talent from Mass Effect working on it. There's a whole lot of people.
343.
Yeah, that
Naughty Dog.
343 people don't excite me as much, but certainly Naughty Dog talent. Your Drew Karpyshyn's who basically wrote the Mass Effect trilogy. They've got all of the right kind of behind the scenes talent on it. Now it doesn't guarantee anything. There's plenty of games of from the creator of such and such, and their game's shit because really it was the team that got the job done and not the one individual. But there's enough of these really talented people that have worked on really highly acclaimed games that have all come from really successful studios that you'd hope it's going to amount to something pretty cool. And the trailer presented really well. Like I like the tone of it. I like the setting. That kind of harder edged sci-fi is absolutely kind of my jam when it comes to kind of how sci-fi gets delivered. So it's kind of the Mass Effect that we've been waiting for but haven't gotten, as far as I can tell at this point. So yeah, it kind of sucks no gameplay. We kind of judge about CG and those sort of things, but I could deal. I think in this case, I think it's the only game in my list that is. Oh no, there's no, actually no. It's the only game in the list that's purely CG. That
I'll throw it to that. Was my number 2 game.
Yeah, nice.
Same thing. Like I said, yes, it is a CG trailer, and I don't care for CG trailers. However, I looked at that and said, this feels like Mass Effect, so I went and looked it up. And when I saw BioWare's name, the former BioWare developers, I was like, yeah, makes perfect sense. And then I started to listen to the story. I thought, I'm in.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, if it's anything that feels like Mass Effect, but isn't Mass Effect, but it's better than Mass Effect, sure, I'm in. Like I said, Matthew McConaughey's in it. I thought, why is he like? I just heard the words Matthew McConaughey. I was like, why is he
oh
there?
no!
Like, it's like, why are you here? Did you get lost or something? It's like, or something like that. He says, oh, he's like, oh, he's part of it. I thought, oh, okay. What part of the game are you in? Are you the trash can, the voiceover? Are you the pilot? Like
the PR guy.
Must be the PR guy. Are you just a hologram? For 20 seconds worth, like all the speeches of the Game Awards that people got. Or who knows? Nobody knows. We'll find out.
Oh, yeah, lots of drama.
Whenever that is. They haven't released date on that? Was it? I'll say 25.
No, I don't think it even had a year. I think it was very much one of those, a bit like Ken Levine's game from the year before, which the name escapes me now. Because I feel like it's a similar name.
I haven't seen it since. I'm guessing.
No, we haven't seen it since. Ken Levine game. Judas, not at all like.
Oh yeah. Was that the BioShock one? No.
Yeah, that's Ken Levine's ex BioShock, and it's basically very much the BioShock.
Haven't seen it since.
Sort of thing. Haven't seen it since. Though I have a feeling we're going to see a bit more of it in 2024, but we'll wait and see. Ken Levine does things his way. But yeah, it's okay. So not naming convention is not the same at all. But anyway, Exodus looks pretty sweet. Considering it was your number 2, is there anything else you wanted to add on top of that before we bounce back to your number 3?
I'll add on to another one. I'll add another one in. Light No Fire. I'll throw in there.
Yeah, okay.
I know it is by the man Sean Murray who made No Man's Sky, and we all know how No Man's Sky started off. All these promises and nothing was delivered. So I'm hoping he's learned from No Man's Sky to not do it again.
That said, what's the big promise that they've made? It's
I'm just saying,
the planet is the size of a real planet.
Yeah, I know. They've said nothing about it. It's just the trailer. I thought, that looks nice. I thought, maybe something's changed, or is it just No Man's Sky with a normal sized planet? We will find out.
Yeah, we've got an entire planet, like the size of a normal planet to explore. Great. Okay, it's massive. That's exciting. But then,
right, so is it going to take 8 hours to get from one point to the other? Like if it's a real planet?
Yeah. I'd imagine so. I feel like that's what they're getting at. And there's maybe you can build ways to fly and that sort of thing and move. But Yeah. Sean, don't screw this up. So was that your number 3 then?
That
Oh,
was
it's
my
just you.
substitute.
Oh yeah, okay,
My
just shouting one out.
substitute 3, because I will push my number 3 up to number 2 now since
Yeah, okay,
Exodus has been spoken about.
fair enough. Well, what's next for you then?
So my number 2 is all the Sega games.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Crazy Taxi and
Crazy
Golden
Taxi
Axe and
something that looked like Sunset Overdrive. I can't remember what it was
oh
called.
oh my god.
Like, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember. But still, I just looked at and went, "This is great." And then the greatest thing was ever said when those two people were on the couch.
Jet Set Radio.
Jet Set Radio, that's the one. Playing video games on the couch. Power went out, and the guy said, "Oh my god, did you save the game?" And I thought, "Yep, I've been there many times as a kid." That was late 1990s, early 2000s problems when autosave was not a thing, and I thought, I can relate.
They've been basically saved, like Sega's been saved over the years by Sonic, Atlas specifically, so like Persona and Yakuza. But like those franchises have now, I mean, set aside the fact that the quality bar for Sonic is still pretty up and down, it still sells obscenely high. So those three have then positioned them financially to allow them to just go for broke and take some chances on some IP that were loved back in the day, but maybe were unsustainable back at the time. But now, it could be something pretty cool. Crazy Taxi, I feel like, has a stack of potential in this current climate because I mean, imagine the Twitch community would go nuts for something like that.
Yeah, something new and arcadey. Yeah, Twitch would go nuts for it. Everyone would go nuts for it. But just hearing the words Crazy Taxi, I thought, finally, after the death of the Dreamcast, Crazy Taxi is finally back.
With Hi-Fi Rush being what it was this year, to then go, but hang on, this is like Jet Set Radio is where this thing began. Like, that's huge. They've got all the potential there, so it's not a bad choice. But of course they didn't show anything of it, so it was really just how they kind of presented things in the trailer.
Yeah, but exciting times.
My number 3 was Visions of Mana. We we spoke about it a little bit before the show, and I'll let you repeat your thoughts from before. But as someone who adored the Mana franchise from when I was a kid, and I've only done 2 because it's been a bit of a struggle to kind of get the time to with little kids to write an entire script for this thing. I've only done 2 of these Gamer School series so far, and the Mana franchise was the very first one that I did. And like that's because I absolutely adore it, and especially those Super Nintendo entries. And this Visions of Mana just smacks of those. Like it's one of those things that Square Enix has kind of stopped giving any love to for about 15 years after kind of the quality. Well, the quality bar dropped, but I also think it's because Square Enix wasn't investing in it like they used to. And so then they've gone, oh, it's not selling, like not recognizing that they were the problem. But anyway, they stopped making them as a result until finally, I think I'm going to say it was 2016 or thereabouts. They did a remake for Secret of Mana, which is absolutely the most acclaimed game of the lot. Then they remade what was referred to as Trials of Mana. That was one that was released exclusively in Japan, was loved by the Japanese, but no one over here saw it unless you went down the Mother 3 fan translation path. They've been kind of gradually getting the franchise back to this kind of point of relevance, and with some really great remakes. And now I guess they've gotten to that point where we go, okay, let's make a new one. And holy shit, it looked good. Like the visual style looks awesome. The combat kind of fits with what I would kind of expect those games to become in the current day. So I'm all about it. But Matto, you had some thoughts, so go on.
It was one thought. The one thing I noticed out of all,
yes, not necessarily a negative, but more a point of humor.
Negative, a point of humor. But yes, I looked at it and thought it looks fantastic. It's very, I would say, family-friendly colors.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, there was this friendly-looking rabbit there, just minding its own business, and then all of a sudden, the character is just attacking it with a sword, still smile in hand and all, and just happy times, just slashing away at a happy bunny. And then they showed another one of some happy mushrooms getting slashed away as well. And I thought, that's not right. They're slashing away at some poor, happy, minding their own business NPCs. And I don't know, that's the one thing I got out of it. I was just laughing at it. I thought, it's just oh my, just like, what? give him a sad face or something. I mean, you can't just let him smile and just laugh around while they're getting, bludgeoned to death by a sword.
They did a good job of making him look real cute back in the day, and so then beating the shit out of him. Yeah, it does feel a bit weird, but sucked in. You shouldn't have been there. They do still attack you. They're not. They are violent pieces
With a
of shit.
smile. With a smile
on their face. Well, that was my number 3, but also you just did your number 2 too, didn't you?
I did.
So did we skip something for you?
So, because I added in Fire No Light, then I just.
Oh, you're just making that, you made that a number 3
as well. Then I put Sega in as number 2.
Yeah, okay. So I guess my number 2 then is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which may be shock and awe for people that it's not my number 1, but at the same time, given everything we said during the predictions episode, I think the number 1 is maybe very clear for people. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like they showed off a new trailer. It's not necessarily anything crazy revelatory. There's some like little teasers to narrative beats that they've kind of established through the core game and then the expansion, the DLC that came out. What was that? Last year, 2021, something like that. Anyway, the last couple of years. Yeah, actually, it was the year after the launch, so 2021. I don't know. It's hitting all the right notes. February 29. It's leap year day. I'm all about it.
Leap year day.
Yeah.
The 29th? Is that 28th or 29th?
Yeah, 29th. Next year's a leap year, and it comes out on the 29th. So, nice, unique release date for them, which, whatever that value adds to people. But game's going to be huge. I wasn't crazy about the performance thing that they did on the stage, like performing the main theme for it. Like, that was whatever. But
was that the flute guy?
Flute guy would have been part of it, but maybe not even playing a flute in that case. But no, they did a performance kind of mid-show, right before, or kind of it was weird. They what Jeff had was a performance that was kind of, it showed some stuff from the new trailer, but also was mainly focused on the actual performance itself, and the music of the main theme. But then at the same time that was occurring, Square Enix uploaded the full trailer, which was kind of more of a normal trailer, and then it cut to, and here's our main theme sort of thing after that. So people who watched just the Game Awards exclusively and didn't actually check the Square Enix channels afterwards or at the same time kind of missed half of it, or whatever. Anyway, second most exciting one for me there, which takes us to number 1.
Yes.
Number 1 for both of us. It's another one that we've got in common. You go first, though.
Well, our number 1, because I'm pretty sure we both got the same number 1.
Yeah, well, yeah, I could be surprised here, but
you never know. It could be that Sentinel one that showed no gameplay whatsoever, but that's a lie. It is Capcom's only Resident Evil 4 VR. No, it is Monster Hunter Wilds. Even though, same again, there was no gameplay to it. But we don't care.
Well, there was a little bit, like the way they kind of, like you could see it was in engine, like it wasn't this ultra glossy CG sort of thing. Like it was very scripted, and like they swung the camera in ways that you would never use when you're actually playing. But like they swung the camera because you've got this kind of avalanche style thing that's going on. There's monsters kind of, everyone's kind of running towards the camera in a very Uncharted kind of style way. But yeah, it wasn't CG, but at the same time, it was not far from it.
But at the same time, I don't think either of us really cared because there was an announcement of a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
That's all we cared about.
That's all we cared about.
And now your dog thing has wings. So, no more climbing.
Looks far more bird-like now.
Yes.
So I wonder if you'll get the Palamute still, or...
A stupid cat.
Well, yeah. I wonder if the Palicos come along.
Only if it dresses up as Sonic. I don't want it.
That's fair.
No, I don't know. I think depends. If they go back to Monster Hunter... Oh, wait. Monster Hunter World, did you have one then?
You had a Palico. You had the Palico. You didn't have... Palamute came in with Rise.
Which was Rise, yeah, okay. I couldn't remember if I had a Palamute in World.
No.
Because I think I just forgot that you could ride it for like half the game, then realised about halfway through the game, after 40 hours, you could ride the thing. I thought, oh, you absolute dickhead.
Yeah, I mean...
Wasted my time walking around.
They're really trying to go for scale, even with the trailer. Like, you kind of see that you're running through this giant mass of just like local non-threatening monsters, but like there's heaps of them.
That's heaps.
And that's obviously going to be a little bit draining on the console normally, but we've got next gen here. It's not a Switch game, so it's gonna well, I suppose it could be a Switch 2 for all we know, but it's really going to push the PS5 and the Xbox Series X in that sense. And then you get to the end of the trailer and you kind of have this looking out over a vast environment. The Rathalos kind of flies through, and they're really trying to emphasize the scale of that. I think about this new Palamute bird thing that clearly has wings, so there's some flying there. Do they bring the wire bugs and those sort of things over from Rise? Like, these worlds could be enormous, and then when you combine the capabilities of this new bird thing with wire bugs, you could be still tearing, like, make this gigantic environment actually still feel really small because of how capable you are. I don't know.
Yeah,
it could be interesting.
I didn't even think of it that way. It's just
they didn't tease the wire bugs. That's me putting my own thought in there. Yeah.
You never know. You never know. Right. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll just bring the old hookshot thing they did from the Iceborne DLC.
Yeah, it's true.
Which was the best add-on in a game ever. No, you stupid Prince of Persia. I'm finding it funny enough that none of us put Prince of Persia in there. Did you put Prince of Persia in there?
No, but it's kind of lingering around the kind of the honorable mention sort of ballpark. Like, it's looking really good. We played it at PAX and it's shaping up really well. Jess, I've mentioned it before when we were talking. Like, Jess has played it. There'll be some preview stuff on Player 2 in the near future. There's some cool stuff going on with the game, but there's a little bit of kind of wait and see for the demo that comes out a week before the game does. Sorry, Ali, if you're watching and getting upset as I do this. Lots of love. I'm really looking forward to the game. But yeah, I mean, Monster Hunter's gonna be awesome. We just got to wait till 2025, unfortunately.
I'm okay with that because, like I said, I've got other games to play in the meantime to catch up.
Well, it just means that when GTA 6 comes out and everyone goes nuts about that, and I potentially could not care less, I could just go, all right, sweet, I'm going back to Monster Hunter. This is going to be awesome.
I just find it funny. People are going absolutely bananas about that GTA 6 trailer when all Rockstar did was show absolutely nothing about the game. All they did was just find some classic Florida people from the news, like Two Hammer Lady, man getting crocodile out of the pool.
Yeah.
They've
wheeled out all the stereotypes.
And all the other stuff. And I was laughing at going, yep, in true Rockstar form, all they've done is show the location, Vice City. Great. I'm glad we're back in Vice City. And your two characters, great. Other than that, nothing. And the 2025 thing, and then everyone's getting angry. Oh, it's so far away. I'm like, you idiots. If you had any form of brain cells, you'll remember back in 2011, they showed a GTA 5 trailer. The game came out 2 years later. Yeah. Also, didn't come out on PC till a year later. And people are complaining that's not on PC.
It doesn't say PC. Yeah. People, they'll find any excuse to whinge and feel entitled and all that sort of. Why is it not coming to Switch?
So stop sniffing glue, people, and let those brain cells grow. Let them just be free.
Shit. Any other thoughts on all things game announcements? Any honourable mentions that you wanted to shout out? You obviously tucked a little bit of Hello Game stuff in there, but is there anything else you wanted to kind of shout out at all?
I think the one you said before, I can't remember what it was, the one where the character uses sign language.
Oh, Harmonium.
That's the one.
Which is a new EA Originals game. That looks real good. Surprised me how good it was, because I don't know. I'm going to be really careful about my wording here because I don't want people to misinterpret it. I thought that when that was kind of being introduced to us all at the time, that Jeff was going, the accessibility box, I can tick that one by, make sure that community is satiated by just, putting that game in there.
But then
not to be dismissive of it, because of course, it doesn't make the game bad or anything like that. But I just thought, okay, I've got this agenda. I need to hit all these things to make sure that everyone is happy. And there's my game that kind of meets the needs of the kind of, I guess, the advocates for accessibility in games. And so great, I've done that and I can move on. But I'm glad he gave that game a platform, because it's not only is it going to be awesome for those who it's really needed for in the accessibility space, but also the game looks amazing.
It does.
And sounds fantastic. Amazing. So
then
good job, EA.
One more I'll give a shout out to House.
Oh yeah.
With with Big Walk. I know it looks like the dumbest game ever,
But so was
but I'm
Goose
so
Game.
is Untitled Goose Game. So I'm all for it. I just laughed at that stupid beaky thing that goes and dips its beak in the water and comes back up. That's all and also Australian voices. So it's gonna
Yeah.
absolutely
Kookaburras
mess
at the beginning.
Kookaburras, magpies. Thought one was going to swoop because that's how real it sounded. And then now it's going to be shown to the rest of the world, and nobody's going to understand what the hell we're saying.
Pretty much. We compare that with Baby Steps. Remember that Baby Steps game? The
yes.
Devolve one, which I'm pretty sure is like an Aussie voice actor in there as well.
There is. It's the main guy. There's just some dude who just randomly appears out of nowhere. It's just some Aussie, but he's not like full bogan Aussie. He's like, I would say, suburban Aussie.
Yeah. So for me, I guess there's probably a few more shout outs, I guess. I wanted to make sure that I kind of touched on. I had a little list here. Where's like Windblown, the new game from the Dead Cells guys, looks great. I still haven't played Dead Cells yet, but I really, really want to, and I just that's awesome. World of Goo 2 was crazy huge to me because I loved that game when it like basically launched with the Wii. It was like indie games before indie games were huge, and World of Goo was kind of that one on the Wii. And then suddenly, 15 years later, there's a sequel. That's kind of crazy. You touched on Big Walk, so that's fine. No Rest for the Wicked, which comes from Moon Studios.
Yes.
Ori is that good that I don't like. It wouldn't have mattered what they showed off. I was going to be keen on it. They've got a showcase apparently on March the 1st to show off more about this game, which is cool. I don't know what that's going to entail, but like that's pretty sweet. We mentioned kind of Overdose before. The theater around that was kind of cool, but otherwise they didn't show a hell of a lot. So it was kind of entertaining.
They showed 3 faces. That was it. Like, yes, there's some well-rendered faces you got there.
It was really just about Kojima and Keeley and their friends and
three
Jordan
actors
Peele and
3 actors that no one's ever heard of, or probably have heard of. It was like, that is the most pointless thing I've ever seen.
Tales of Kenzera Zao. So it was this Metroidvania style thing. It comes out like April 23rd, which is a little problematic for me because it comes out the same day as Ayuden Chronicle. But anyway, more on that later, I guess. That was the one, like the developer came out, he introduced it. It was a game that it was meant to honor his dad who died. And it was just one of those moments more. I mean, the game itself looks great, but it was actually more about the way it was introduced. It was the humanity of the whole moment. Like you could see him starting to get choked up and emotional because of, I guess, the love he's got for his dad. So I really enjoyed that, like not only the game but the way it was presented to everyone. That was pretty awesome as well. And I guess probably the last one, unless there's something. I mean, I could start talking about Helldivers and all those sort of things, but we've done a bit of that over the journey. The last one I kind of just wanted to briefly shout out was Blade.
Ah, yes. It's gonna be interesting.
That whole situation is going to be really interesting. What lens are you coming at that through though? Before I say my piece.
When they said it was getting made by
Bethesda,
Arcane. Bethesda Arcane Studios, or Arcane,
the Deathloop team.
Deathloop team, but also did they do Redfall?
No, that was the Texas team.
Oh, okay, but still, yes, Deathloop and Dishonored. That's the other one.
Yeah, they're the Deathloop and Dishonored team, so they are kind of the A team, I guess. But
yeah. That's just where I saw Bethesda as well, and Blade in Marvel. I thought, okay, that's 2 names I never thought that would come together, and here we are.
So
what the hell's going on?
My thing about this is the fact that it is a Bethesda game. Now we know that in this day and age, Bethesda is owned by Microsoft. Did you see an Xbox logo there at all?
No.
Nah. Didn't intro it. Didn't outro it.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see what's happening. I see.
To this moment, and I don't like. I'm so mindful of not getting fanboyish and crazy because it's actually more of like an intrigue thing. If it remains Xbox, if it's Xbox exclusive because it feels like it should be, considering Xbox owns them, then fine, and that's exactly where I'll play it, and I'll be happy to do so. But for the theater and the intrigue in this thing, I'm fascinated because there was no Xbox logo in the trailer. It is not on the Xbox YouTube account at all, whilst it's on the Bethesda one and the Marvel Games account.
Ooh. Oh, this is a mystery.
I am so fascinated to see if this thing comes to PlayStation and like the riots that will occur if it does.
Because it is an interesting thing. Because was it getting developed before?
I mean, I doubt it because
Microsoft.
Unless PlayStation had kind of agreed to a deal, because obviously there was, they'd made the deal with Bethesda around Deathloop, and maybe there'd already been an agreement that after Deathloop we're working on Blade, and PlayStation maybe locked him in for that as well. So maybe there's something to that. But I just can't wait for this thing to play out, whatever the scenario is. And again, I mean, I know like everyone knows, and it's all in my backdrop and all that. Like I am crazy PlayStation head, but I'll happily play this thing on Xbox if that's where it comes out. There's no issues with that. If it comes to PlayStation, that'll be my preferred platform. But what I'm really fascinated to see is just how this plays out. What Phil Spencer inevitably has to, like, he's going to have to come out and say something at some point. But Pete Hines is gone from Bethesda, so he can't really, like, he was always the big focal point for all things Bethesda. He's gone, enjoying retirement these days.
And
so
Todd Howard's not involved in it.
Todd Howard's got nothing to do with it, so you can't even get him to speak to it like he could with, say, Indiana Jones, for example, that he is working with, what's their name? The Wolfenstein team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
it's gone. The name's escaping me now, but the guys who work on Wolfenstein, he's working with them on Indiana Jones. He could speak to that. He could be a public face. But Pete Hines, who's the long-time marketing person, gone. That's the person that would normally comment on this sort of thing. So I don't know. It's gonna be a weird one, and the questions are being asked already, and I'm curious to see what the answers are.
It is a very interesting one. I never even thought that when you said, "Did you see an Xbox logo?" I thought, no. Oh.
And just to be clear for people, OD, which is a third-party exclusive, Kojima's thing,
no.
The Xbox logo's plastered all over it. Kojima's out there. He's talking about how he was using the Xbox cloud architecture. People would remember that actually because it was the 2022 Xbox Bethesda Game Showcase where he announced it. But had nothing to show specifically at the time, and he didn't show much more this time. But like he announced it on that stage and announced it's an Xbox exclusive. So like that was done. That's nailed in. They didn't do that here, so I can't help but wonder if it's maybe multi-platform. But we'll wait and see. And look, I think it's a really simple one. Like if it turns out that PlayStation did kind of tee up this agreement at the same time as the Deathloop one, then that's all they need to come out and say is like, hey, this is still part of the same deal that PlayStation had made when they locked down Deathloop, and everyone go, I guess that's a bit shit, but like whatever. Like I guess it is what it is. You can't help what was in place before you bought them. And they, well, I guess they can actually rip it. It was within Xbox's power to rip up the agreement, but they didn't do it with Deathloop. So why would they do it here? I don't know. Maybe Marvel saying you don't sell enough consoles to justify it.
That is true.
So we need you to put this thing on PlayStation so we can get our money back.
Okay, Jim's not going to be there. You can do whatever you want.
He's too busy having going away parties, getting PS1 themed PS5s, despite the fact he doesn't like retro games, and then cookies with his face on it.
Maybe that's just an absolute troll. Just say, hey Jim, we know here's a PlayStation 5 in a PlayStation 1 model. He would know what to do with it.
Bye Jim. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Any other thoughts on kind of the awards side of things before we? And we don't need to go into a big long thing about this, but
I think
because if we speak for too long, it'll actually be if we speak for any more than about 5 minutes, it'll be more time that was allocated to the awards themselves.
And that's where the problem sits.
Yeah.
Is that you kind of forget it's called the Game Awards, not the game trailers.
The game announcements.
The game announcements. And if I was a developer and I went up there, won an award, and I only had 30 seconds to speak of all the hard work you did over let's just say 5 years, I'd be annoyed. And if I had a Game of the Year or another nomination the next year or the year after, I wouldn't go.
Oh no, you'd go. There's a money making opportunity there, but
you just send up the intern. Go get the award for us. Go fill in 30 seconds. Go, I don't know. Show them a magic trick or something for 30 seconds.
Go ask for GTA 6.
Or just play a YouTube ad for 30 seconds, and there you go. You're done.
Um, I guess to Jeff's credit a little bit, it was like 30 seconds at the beginning there, and apparently he's tweeted out he actually got in touch with their executives and told them to bloat that out. Now it still wasn't a very long time, and it kind of went from about 30 seconds to like a minute and a half, which was wasn't much either. But it really, I guess, was highlighted the most when, and admittedly, it's not technically the producer's fault. They've kind of got their instructions and they're following them. But you have Game of the Year. You have the guy from Larian up there talking about how they were dedicating it to their team member who died the month before, and meanwhile you've got like footage from the crowd where that is being said as they swing the camera around to the teleprompter that's counting down to the "please hurry up" prompt while they're honouring a fallen colleague. Like it's shit. I get that there's like a time limit. There's got to be a better way to deliver that message, and yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
you always just ask nicely and say, "Hey, can you try and do your best to make it short? Not just put a timer up on a big screen."
Best independent game didn't get a chance to speak.
Or even like all the esports crap, just power all through the awards there, and all that stuff. Like
which they did, to be fair, but
they did. But even there's like, if there was a big screen that had a countdown timer tell me to hurry up, I wouldn't hurry up. I'll just keep talking.
We were right about the VTuber winning.
Were we?
And then that was, yeah, the VTuber won, and then it was weird. But of course it was. Such and such can't be here. Surprise.
Shock.
But anyway, yeah, that was kind of weird.
And can you please have less celebrities next time, please? I mean, what was that Timothy guy host?
I mean, he just looks like Pinocchio from Lies of P. Surely that's why they got him right. Or he looks like the GTA kid from the year before, just grown up.
Yeah, the Bill Clinton guy. That's what everyone was saying. And then old Jeff, where is he? He put a poll up after the Game Awards. He said, how would you grade the Game Awards 2023? It was between A, B, C, D, or below. A got. I should probably refresh it.
What? Yeah. What is the split at the moment? Because it was pretty even when I put my vote in.
So A is 24.1.
It's decent actually.
B 31.8. C 21. D 23.1. But that's just probably a lot of angry people just saying we want more people to talk about their awards, or
it's a pretty even split.
Give Sam Lake more time to speak. Free DLC. New Games Plus.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because it's a pretty even split. But what? There's a Kojima documentary that's going to hit Disney Plus this autumn.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, that's right. It had its debut in Tribeca, but now it's going to come to Disney Plus. Okay. These are just all the things, of course, because Keely's tweeting it and retweeting it and stuff.
Then some guy just made a joke, said ads 1 hour, game trailers 45 minutes, talking about awards 30 minutes, Kojima speech 2 hours, acceptance speeches 30 seconds, addressing layoffs 0 seconds.
Yeah, it wouldn't have taken much to just pay a bit of respect to people who've been fired. The people who were screaming and shouting about him acknowledging the war, like I get not going there because that's a
touchy subject, that one.
Well, it's a touchy subject in the sense that like you're suggesting that one group of people is more important than the other, regardless of which side of the fence you sit on, and that. Like, unless you're going to go up there and wish everyone well, at which point people are just going to scream at you for fence sitting. Like, it's there's a no-win situation there. I think if you're Jeff and the team, so I get that one. But like the game developers, I mean, it's a games event. Like, respect the developers who are losing their jobs. People who are responsible for a whole bunch of these Game of the Year nominees that don't work there anymore because they can't the teams can't afford them. Like, it's bullshit. But anyway, that was kind of rubbish. But yeah, it's a weird mix. You got lots of people kind of pushing for different things. I think overall it was a solid enough job. Like, I end up voting with a B, because I think what was presented when it came to the awards and those sort of things was good. Then it lost its points for me because of the awards component of things and the lack of them and the lack of respect shown to the developers. So I don't know. Anyway,
I still don't get why they had to have a musical act on for. It's not the Grammys. Well, I get it.
I've always
I
enjoyed the
understand.
music thing, but it's because they now got more and more ads and shit in it that then means that the show's getting longer and longer, and so people go, well, why don't you cut the music? Like, no, the music's awesome, and like you're getting like that's actually paying respect to the games, but yeah, it's a weird balance because the ads are the problem, but he needs them to make the money to run the show, so it's a shit spot. Any other thoughts at all?
No, I didn't really watch it because I just saw how long the runtime was. It said 3.5 hours. I thought, no.
Look, it's still worth it if you carve out some time at some point, but just get a couple of beers, kick back, and watch watch it. It's still fairly interesting.
No,
You do need to hear Christopher Judge. Did you hear the Christopher Judge thing? The comments about Call of Duty?
Yeah, if I was an Activision employee and I heard that, I'd probably be angry too.
There's a lot of angry Call of Duty developers, but also some Call of Duty developers like, yeah,
Fair point.
like I know
Yeah,
Darcy Sandel, who
That's
works at Sledgehammer here in Australia, and she was on Dev Diary recently, and I saw her tweet out. She goes, "It was funny. It was a short campaign. Like,
Yeah.
who cares?
You can't You can thank Bob for that one.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
just say Bob.
Yeah, fuck off, Bobby. Get out of here. All right. Search, and then Jeff Keighley searching at Baldur's Gate 3 Goatee on.
Oh, Xbox. Because it hadn't been
It
released
came
on
down.
Xbox yet.
They stealth launched it on Xbox today, right?
Well, yesterday when it got announced.
I didn't even notice that they dropped that announcement in there. Anyway, well, there you go. Surprises even after the fact. All right, let's wrap things up. If you enjoyed this episode of Patch, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. All the buttons are down below. Hit the notification bell. That way you're alerted to every new episode the moment it goes live. There's a whole bunch of awesome video content there. Go check it out. Both shorts and full videos as well, from Player 2 Plays to Patched, so video reviews and more. Visit the website, player2.net.au. I mentioned before there's the kind of write-ups about all of the announcements. Each individual game that was revealed or teased or given a trailer to at the showcase is covered by myself and Jess. We've got the pre-show live at the moment, but by the time this episode goes live, we've kind of broken the main show into two halves. They'll all be there for people to enjoy as well, so go check all of that out. As well as all the usual stuff. We referenced Ben Starr before. He was on Dev Diary recently. Go check out Dev Diary. And that bastard knew exactly when that trailer was coming out as we spoke and led me down the garden path, the prick. Anyway, well done, Ben. You're good at your job. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au, kicking a few bucks, lower tiers, early access, high tiers, monthly episode exclusives. And finally, there's Twitter. Matto.
Matto_Phil.
Paul James Games, myself. The website is player2au. And until next week, I think our final episode for 2023.
Really?
The 12th, 19th, yeah, because then the one afterwards would be Boxing Day. So next week is our final episode. We might do an update. I don't know. We'll work that out between us. And anyway, until next week. Thanks a lot for watching. Hope the game that you, just go play Monster Hunter for the time being. See you guys.
Or Spider-Man. Support the Zero Awards.
0 from 7. Sorry, Insomniac. You're still awesome. We love you.